everyone, and welcome to Jack and Cat Adventures. Today we're going to be making Hungarian Kifle or Kifle cookies. So let's start out. So in a bowl you're going to need 1 tablespoon of yeast, a half a tablespoon of sugar, and a half a cup of sour cream. And you're going to mix that. I know it sounds weird, but it works.
We didn't make up the recipe, we're just following it.
Yeah. So I'm just going to mix this really well. I'm using my whisk. I think it's a German whisk, isn't it?
I thought it was Swedish or
Oh, maybe.
Nordic, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'm just going to set that aside for now, and we're going to move on to our next step. So in a large bowl, you need 2.5 cups of flour, and you're going to add a cup of butter that's cold. I'm using salted. It doesn't matter. Use what you want. I just like that little bit of salt in mine without having to add salt. Okay. And you got to make these, you got to plan for these. They take at least 2 to 3 hours in the refrigerator or overnight. They're better overnight. Okay, so I'm going to put that in, and you can take 2 knives and do this, or use your pastry cutter. And we're just going to cut that into small chunks, pea-sized. Alright, once you get your flour and butter mixed into like pea-sized or sand, you're perfect. I ended up using my hands in the beginning because my butter was really hard and cold. You don't want to melt the butter in your hands, just kind of break it apart real quick, and then I went in with my pastry cutter and finished cutting. Now once your yeast has dissolved in this, we're going to add our egg yolks, 2 egg yolks, and keep the whites because you need it for tomorrow or whenever you're going to make these, like 2 to 3 hours or until overnight. I'm letting mine sit overnight. It's a little late here and I'm tired, so I'm going to do them tomorrow. And then you need a half a teaspoon of vanilla. We're going to mix that together. This yeast is going to make it light and these cookies light and airy, especially if you let it sit for a long period of time. Just kind of mixing this all in, getting the egg mixed in really well before I pour it into the flour mixture. The nice thing I like about this too is you don't need to use your mixer for anything. So now pour this into your flour mixture. Okay, and then I'm going to get a wooden spoon and I'm going to start stirring that. And once this is combined really well, we're going to pour it onto our board, or maybe we can do it in the bowl. We'll see how sticky it is. And we're going to cut that in we're going to make it into a ball, and then we're going to cut it in half, and we're going to wrap it each half in saran wrap or plastic wrap. Alright, it gets a little tough with the wooden spoon, so I put a glove on and I used just the gloved hand, and I just made it until it's a smooth, soft ball. Now don't overwork the dough. You don't want the butter to get warm. My hands are freezing, so the butter is really cold on this. So I'm just going to let it go. If your hands are too warm, then you're just going to use a wooden spoon, because if you break down that butter, the butter is what we want to give our dough flakiness with the yeast, okay? So you don't want to melt that butter. So now I'm just going to cut mine in half, and I'm going to make it into a ball. And I'm going to wrap it in my saran wrap. I'm going to roll one over, and then I'm going to push it down a little bit. I want it to get a little flat, so that way when we go to roll it tomorrow, it won't be so hard. And I'm just going to roll this and put it in the refrigerator overnight, 2 to 3 hours or overnight. Alright, now we're moving on to the filling. So in a mixing bowl, you're going to put your 2 egg whites in there. And we're going to beat this until it becomes stiff peaks. Okay, now that we have our stiff peaks, we're going to add a little bit of sugar to taste, however much you want for your filling. I want mine pretty sweet. I like it on the sweet side. You're going to add 3/4 of a cup of ground nuts to this. I'm using, you can use walnuts or pecans. I'm using roasted pecans because that's what I have. And I really like the flavor of the roasted pecans. Alright, so 3/4 of a cup. I'm just going to add this whole thing. Just a little bit left in there.
That may be 1 cup total, just under.
Not even. Alright, and then we're going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of lemon juice. Alright, now we're just going to fold that in. Don't mix it really hard or you're going to, all your air from your egg whites is going to deflate, and we want that airiness to our mixture. So I'm just going to gently fold this in. And just make sure it's all coated really well. You just got to kind of cut into some of the whites. Let me see if I can show you. This and over. I'm just going to finish that up. Alright, I left my dough out for about maybe 7 minutes just to get it a little bit warm so I can move it, roll it. On a cutting board, you're going to roll your dough out in a 1/3 cup of flour and a 1/3 cup of sugar. Mix it together and push it out. Then we're going to put our dough in the middle and we're just going to roll this out to a really thin circle. Once you have it rolled out pretty thin, you're going to cut it into 8 pieces. So I'm just going to cut it in half. I'm using a pizza cutter, and then I'm going to cut it this way. Then I'm going to cut it this way.
Yep, right down the center.
I'm kind of wanting it to be a little bit smaller, but we'll see. And then this way. Those look really big. I think I should cut it in.
And split them again if you want.
I think I will. I think they look a little bit too big for me. Now, if you like them that way, go ahead and leave them that way, okay?
Make them small and you gotta carry a whole handful of them to get full.
I'm just going to do it this way. That way it gives us a little bit more cookies to give away too.
Ain't giving them away. I'm gonna eat them all. Bah humbug.
Okay, so I'm just going to put 1 teaspoon of our filling into our cookie. Just a teaspoon, don't overdo it. And I'm just going to put it on here like this. And then I'm going to roll this from the wide end to the middle. And I'm going to continue to do that with the rest of these cookies. Alright, these are going to go in a 350-degree preheated oven for 20 to 25 minutes. Alright, mine took 17 minutes, so start checking them after 15. They got lightly brown on top and brown on the bottom. Now I've let these cool, and I do recommend cutting them smaller than into the 8 pieces they say. I would definitely cut them smaller. So I'm just going to take, now once the cookies are cooled, I'm just going to take some of powdered sugar, and I'm just going to lightly powdered sugar them. I'm just going to lightly powder sugar them.
Her helper didn't open the sugar bag enough.
So pretty.
Yeah, they look nice.
Be pretty on a cookie tray for sure. Alright, there you have it. So please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And remember, you do you.